Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. And today we are looking at courtroom video, and this is most corrupt judges of all time. We're gonna get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button, subscribe, and comment things down below. Let's go.
Between May and November of 2012, did you engage in sexual conduct with Judge McCree?
Yes, I did.
Numerous times?
Yes.
At least twice at the Westin Hotel?
Yes.
How about Judge McCree's marital home?
Yes.
I can't do this. This is a disgrace.
Your judge? Ma'am, you've got vomit down here in your door. 3300 deal.
This is Delvon King.
Stop. Mr. Sheriff, do it. Use it.
A 25-year-old who is facing weapons charges in La Plata, Maryland. Mr. King claims he is a Moorish American, an anti-government sovereign citizen movement, and as such,
Oh god, we got another sovereign citizen. Listen, I've always made this statement. I don't think I'm being about many sovereign citizens that don't end up in jail somehow. There isn't many. They usually all end up in jail somehow because they always deal with police and then they act incredibly stupid.
he is representing himself in court. He insists that the court has no jurisdiction over him as a sovereign citizen. However, just a few months earlier, King was caught carrying a regulated firearm during a traffic stop. He fled a preliminary hearing when he was brought to court, briefly escaping the police. Bad idea, Mr. King. Due to his fleeing tendencies, King now wears a remote-controlled stun cuff on his leg during court appearances. However shocking King's crimes were, what happened in court will shock you even more. As part of his Moorish American identity, King denies being Delvon King. While King reads a prepared argument questioning the court's authority, an issue arises.
Statutes that violate the plain
Stop.
and
Stop.
common right.
This is 72-year-old Robert Nally, a retired judge called back to hear cases part-time. As Judge Nally explains the jury selection,
Yeah, there's a reason he probably should not have been asked to do that. He's retired. He probably doesn't even want to be in the courtroom. He doesn't even probably want to be a judge. He might just rather just stay and play golf and freaking spend the rest of his life, his retirement. Keeps asking to be held back in the courtroom. He probably just sick of all of it. Hating everyone.
process, King continues reading his argument, challenging the court's jurisdiction.
Violate the plain
Stop.
and
Stop.
common right.
But Judge Nally is on a short leash today. When King refuses to stop speaking, Judge Nally orders the stun cuff on his leg to be activated.
Common reason.
Mr. Sheriff, do it. Use it.
As King squirms in pain, Judge Nally takes a short break.
All right. I'm going to take 5. Don't.
You had him electrocuted and then said you're going to take a break. Unbelievable. Yeah, no wonder your ass doesn't move, probably. What the fuck?
He calms down and I'll be back. Yes, sir. 5 minutes.
And the hearing resumes after a brief recess. King later agreed to probation before judgment and received a 2-year jail sentence, most of which he had already served, and no actual conviction on his record. But the story doesn't end there.
Of course not. Of course it doesn't end there.
After the courtroom video went public, the Maryland Court of Appeals revoked Judge Nally's ability to hear cases. He was also charged with a misdemeanor civil rights violation, which he pleaded guilty to. He received 1-year probation, anger management classes, and a $5,000 fine. Judge Nally was also permanently banned from the bench. However, this wasn't the only time a judge freaked out in court. Take, for example, the case
That judge didn't freak out.
of Judge
That judge wanted that one to get hurt. He wanted that person to get hurt and had him electrocuted.
James Hill.
You say one more word, you say one more word, you're gonna go to the Durham County Bed and Breakfast today. Alright, you have to know she's got 24 hours of contempt of court for running her mouth as soon as we get done.
Who's overseeing a child custody case involving divorced parents Rashana and Colin Morrison. In Durham, North Carolina, the true shock lies not in the case itself, but in the parents' jaw-dropping behavior during this sentencing. The courtroom has witnessed 3 days of intense personal arguments between the two parents.
I'm angry that his dad lives in Durham, can go on vacations with friends, take mistresses out to eat, take her on vacation, and can't seem to see his son.
Roshana is pissed that Colin can enjoy vacations, eating out, and outings with friends, while seemingly neglecting their 3-year-old son. She accuses Colin of abandonment and unpaid child support, while he claims she has withheld their child from him. But the judge had lost his patience and wasn't having any of that. 3 long days of intense personal arguments can do that to anyone. Exasperated and
So this judge was just like, I'm sick of listening to y'all bitch about each other. Figure your fucking shit out, would ya?
frustrated, the judge addresses both parents' behavior.
I could care less about it. I could. To tell you you're not important.
Oh, but he wasn't done. Let's see.
That's 2 parents, and I'm going to choose my words very carefully. 2 parents can come in and act like such idiots. He does not deserve this. Y'all the one that crawled into bed and had and made that baby. He didn't ask to be born, but he was. What's important is and we don't need to see 2 adults acting like idiots. Did I say the word idiots?
Yes, my lord, you did.
Yeah, he's done with this whole case. He's done with it. He's done with them. He's done listening to that girl. He's done listening to the guy. He's done listening to anyone who else who's talked about this case. He doesn't care about any of them. He doesn't care about it. He just wants this to end. He just wants to give the kid thing. He's like, listen, just figure your fucking shit out with your kid. It's the thing. As he puts it, with some reason, parents seem to forget. You both made the kid. You both made the kid. I don't know why y'all stupid asses. There's some people there who just seem to think that like, oh, you can blame one person because you. I mean, no, you both made the kid. You both chose to have sex and made the kid.
Judge Hill now faces Roshana.
I have no doubt that you have withheld that little boy from me.
Roshana protests.
I have not.
You say one more word, you gonna get. You say one more word, you gonna go to the Durham County bed.
Okay. That's not how to take this out on him. You don't take it out specifically on her, because I don't think he does not look like Mr. Innocent here, okay? Both of them look like you said both of them idiots. Why are you specifically targeting freaking her?
Breakfast today. Alright, Deputy Neville, she's got 24 hours of contempt of court for running her mouth as soon as we get done. Alright, you got 48 hours. You will say it again, she's got 48 hours now, Deputy.
You can see her attorney doing her best to calm her down. Eventually, Roshana's attorney and the threat of some days in jail calmed her. After the heated 3-day courtroom ordeal, the judge finally delivered his decision on the case.
Both parents are fit and proper persons to have custody of the minor child. I'm awarded joint custody.
But Roshana decides that it's better to...
Very simple process. That seemed perfectly fine to me. It probably was fit. If he's abandoned thing, you'll figure it out, because he won't come get the kid. But at the moment, both of them have seen that if he can go hang out, go on vacations, go do all that, he can clearly take care of a child.
to spend some time in jail, then calmly accept the ruling.
Just take me, I can't do this. This is a disgrace. What you guys are doing, you get to neglect your son for 9 months. You don't take care of him. You're drunk. You have a mistress. You have no one who doesn't do anything right.
I'm sorry, I have to ask, do you see this guy just chillaxing over here? This guy in a white t-shirt over here. Just fucking chillaxing, hands back, watching this freak out.
I take care of my thing consistently, and I get when he chooses to be in his son's life whenever he feels like it.
As chaos erupts in the courtroom, the judge exits the scene. Roshana's brother, Sharon Smith, tries to calm her down, but suddenly decides that fighting the officers is the better option. The situation intensifies as officers attempt to restrain Roshana and her brother, with Smith eventually resisting arrest. more officers are called in to restore order.
This is insanity.
Sure enough, their mother enters the melee and is also taken in by the officers.
You should have videoed it. It's on tape.
Eventually, Roshana and her brother Smith faced the consequences of their actions in court. Smith and his mother were sentenced to 48 hours of resisting a public officer, while Roshana received 30 days in jail. Unfortunately, they weren't the only ones that had to face the consequences. Judge James Hill was also publicly reprimanded by the North Carolina Supreme Court for the unprofessional exercise of his contempt powers, failing to maintain decorum and making inappropriate comments.
You say one more word, you say one more word, you're gonna go to the Durham County Bed and Breakfast today.
However, Judge...
Okay, so never mind, he shouldn't have probably called them idiots. And he shouldn't have, used the contempt of court thing. There are judges who love that, no? They love contempt of court, get the littlest thing said to them, and they'll just throw you in it without thinking twice. There are judges who love contempt of court.
Judge James Hill wasn't the first judge to behave badly in court, like in the case of Judge John Murphy.
If you want to fight, let's go.
I was like, I feel like he was gonna, this one was gonna be on. I didn't know who the judge's name was, but I expected he was gonna be on. Here's the judge. I like to fight the fucking lawyer.
Go out back and I'll just...
Let's go.
Who's presiding over cases in the Moore Justice Center in Brevard County, Florida. Public Defender Andrew Weinstock and his client are facing 2 charges of assault and resisting arrest before Judge John Murphy. However, what the judge did in the courtroom was even crazier. Judge Murphy wants to set a trial date and suggests the defendant waive his right to a speedy trial due to the court's backlog. Weinstock disagrees.
Public defender, what do you want to do?
Have they filed?
They have.
I'm not waiving.
All right, what do you want to do?
What do you want to do? I'm not waiving. You want to set up for trial, set up for trial.
Judge Murphy is already frustrated and gives the public defender a piece of his mind.
You know, if I had a rock, I would throw it at you right now.
You know, this is
Stop pissing me off. Just sit down. I'll take care of it. I don't need your help.
Weinstock came to court prepared today.
No, you know what? I'm the public defender. I have a right to be here, and I have a right to stand and represent
sit
my
down.
clients.
Seeing that Weinstock isn't budging, the judge shocks everyone.
If you want to fight, let's go out back and I'll just...
Let's go.
Sure enough, the 2 men step out of the courtroom to a hallway where their disagreement turns physical. The cameras don't capture this altercation, but you can hear them going at it.
I wish they did. I want to see a video footage of who thing. I want to see how that fight went.
Eventually, Judge Murphy returns to the courtroom alone, and the entertained courtroom gives him applause.
I wouldn't applaud that.
Man, I'm an old man.
And a judge, Your Honor. Despite the altercation, Judge Murphy proceeds with the hearings in Weinstock's absence, discussing trial date options for the defendant.
Your choices, considering there's probably going to be a changeover in personnel, are setting it for trial, which would be June 9th, or if you were wanting to waive speedy, we would set it for July 15th.
I would like to get it done as fast as possible.
That doesn't help me.
The incident drew attention, and after investigations from the Florida Judicial Qualifications Commission, Judge Murphy faced charges related to violent threats, physical confrontation, and...
I mean, yeah, there was no... He even knew. He's like, there's gonna be someone new on this damn bench. There's no way he knew. He knew he wasn't sticking around after that. There's no way.
resuming proceedings without counsel present. The case reaches the Florida Supreme Court, which orders Judge Murphy's immediate suspension and permanent removal from his position. Later, Andrew Weinstock resigns from the public defender's office.
If you want to fight, let's go out back and I'll just...
Let's go.
However, while Judge Murphy's behavior was shocking, it's nothing compared to the utter mayhem caused by Wayne County Circuit Court Judge Wade McCree in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Between May and November of 2012, did you engage in sexual conduct with Judge McCree?
Yes, I did.
I'm a middle-aged man. She was a young woman. She was pretty, and I'll admit I was excited.
Prepare for a twist that will make your jaw drop. The 56-year-old judge, who is married and has 2 children, is in a judiciary disciplinary hearing after admitting to having an ongoing affair with Janine Lachey Mott, a 31-year-old woman. He met Mott in his courtroom when she appeared as a witness against her son's father in a child support case. Despite the affair, McCree didn't recuse himself from her case and continued presiding for another 6 months. He even discussed the case with Mott outside the courtroom. Mott eventually went to the media with details of the affair. During the hearing, Judge McCree testified that his interest in Mott was sparked when she first entered the courtroom. He admitted that she was an attractive woman who caught his eye due to her appearance.
I confess she was an attractive, striking woman, and she caught my eye.
He compared her favorably to the typical individuals on his docket.
Here's a 6-foot tall woman in stiletto heels and, all the bells and whistles, and I am setting her apart from the rank and file that come through the courtroom. I'm a middle-aged man. She was a young woman. She was pretty, and I'll admit I was excited. I don't want to say that the water came to the horse, but I must say she certainly was coming on to me with an ease that surprised me. It thrilled me.
The affair between Mott and Judge McCree began 3 months after their initial meeting. McCree described Mott as a young, pretty woman who was showing interest in him. The relationship turned sexual, and details of their encounters, including engaging in sexual activities in the judge's chambers, were disclosed.
Between May and November of 2012, did you engage in sexual conduct with Judge McCree?
Yes, I did.
Numerous times?
Yes.
At least twice at the Westin Hotel?
Yes.
How about Judge McCree's marital home?
Yes.
However, McCree claimed their relationship soured as Mott became more demanding of his time.
If I had a minute, she wanted an hour. If I had an hour, she wanted an afternoon. If I had an afternoon, she wanted an evening.
He admitted telling Mott that he would leave his wife, but didn't follow through. He confessed to his wife about the affair. Following the revelation, the Judicial Tenure Committee recommended McCree's removal from the bench and a 6-year suspension from holding any judgeship. The Michigan Supreme Court upheld this recommendation and ordered McCree to pay over $11,000 in court costs. However, while Judge Wade McCree's behavior raised eyebrows,
hold on, so I just need to, so I'm going to assume the reason this is a problem is because he ruled in the favor of her in whatever case she was in. Right? That would have to be the case. Because them having an affair is a problem. I mean, I guess you're doing it in the chambers of the courtroom, so that probably is why it's a main problem. But, like, an affair is an affair. I don't think you need a whole court case over an affair unless it affects the investigation. That's why I'm assuming he must have ruled in her favor in whatever investigation and case she was in.
it's nothing compared to the explosive actions of County Judge Rebecca Doherty.
Do me a favor and have a seat so we can do our job. I'm not going to call anybody yet. Okay, we have stuff we have to do.
I'm going to tell you now to call Lieutenant Lindbergh now.
Have a seat.
Call him.
Or I'm going to put you in the cell.
Who is not in her usual courtroom, but at the local police station, where she's making assertive demands.
I'm going to tell you now to call Lieutenant Lindbergh now.
Judge Rebecca Doherty is absolutely hammered and doesn't seem to realize the situation she is in. This situation began earlier that night when an officer's body camera captured an SUV that had veered off a snow-covered road.
You okay?
No, I'm not.
What's going on? Ma'am, you've got vomit down here in your door.
The driver turns out to be 55-year-old Judge Doherty, who has joined the I Can't Find My Shoes Club. Her intoxicated state made her strangely honest.
Have you been drinking? Okay.
I'm Becky Doherty. I'm a judge.
You're a judge?
Just when you thought she couldn't sink any lower, her behavior in the station will leave you stunned. The officer guides the intoxicated judge into booking, but she has some demands.
Take me home. Okay.
Have a seat.
Let me call Lindbergh.
Have a seat.
No.
Rebecca,
No.
listen. This whole thing is being recorded. Do not do something you are going to regret
Call
tomorrow.
I am absolutely out of my mind.
You're intoxicated.
I am so intoxicated, but...
Since she refused to listen to the officers and insisted on talking to Major Larry Limbert in the county sheriff's office, she was placed in a holding cell.
Do me a favor and have a seat so we can do our job. I'm not going to call anybody yet, okay? We have stuff we have to do. Will you please have a seat?
Despite being placed in a holding cell, she continues her demands.
Rebecca, I'm going to fire up the BAC. Are you going to be willing to do a breathalyzer test?
No, you need to call.
Okay. Rebecca, I'm going to ask you one more time, and this is going to be considered refusal. Are you going to be willing to perform a breathalyzer test?
No.
Following her refusal to undergo a breathalyzer test, Judge Doherty is officially charged with operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol. She eventually receives a $375 fine and 3 days in jail, reduced from an initial sentence of 180 days.
How does the 180 days get reduced to 3 days? That's insane.
Her driver's license was suspended for a year, and she was mandated to complete a driver's intervention program.
Give me my phone so I can make a phone call.
Okay. Your phone is in a puddle of vomit in your car, which is on the side of... Can I finish?
Absolutely.
Which is on the side of the road that you crashed into.
Yes.
However, while some may attribute Judge Rebecca Doherty's actions to alcohol, it pales in comparison to the unfathomable behavior of Judge Joseph Claps, who was seen here walking through the lobby of the George Layton.
Oh, he's the one that had a gun with him, isn't it? He brought a gun into the damn thing? Right? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I don't know if that makes him corrupt, but that makes him pretty stupid.
In criminal courthouse in Chicago, Illinois, as he has done many times in his 2 decades of experience.
My assumption is, I guess, because he probably has handled some high cases. I don't know what he does. I don't know if he does traffic tickets or he does fucking, like, murder cases. Right? But if he's having done some serious cases, he's probably making sure he's always protected in case you never know what can happen.
As Judge Claps passes the security desk, he greets a court security officer. However, an incident occurred today that drew attention. Judge Claps drops an item on the floor.
A gun.
Everyone drops things sometimes, but what makes this significant is that the item is reportedly a loaded satin silver revolver. Now, in Illinois, firearms, even if legally owned, are not allowed within courthouses unless carried by on-duty officers. Watch again as the revolver falls from his folded jacket onto the floor. Judge Claps quickly picks it up with a little difficulty and places it in his pants pocket. Upon reaching the elevators, he hides the gun under his coat again and keeps on walking. The story would have ended there, but these 2 deputies by the doors saw when the gun dropped. Although they didn't react immediately, they later informed a lieutenant about what they saw. Judge Claps, who has a valid firearm owner's ID card and concealed carry license, was charged 3 days later for carrying a concealed weapon in a prohibited area, which is a Class B misdemeanor. He was placed on administrative duty, and if found guilty, he's looking at a possible 6 months in jail and $2,500 fine. Surprisingly, just 3 months later, despite the eyewitness accounts from the deputies, Judge Claps was acquitted of the charge. The court determined that the prosecution failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the object he dropped was indeed a firearm. If you thought these reactions were shocking,
I mean, that's insane. For a reasoning, but... Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this reaction video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.